I've got this ladies' lunch brunch thing coming up, and I was stumped at what to bring. That's when I came across these pretty and delicate Italian lemon ricotta cookies, and I knew I had to give the recipe a try. If this is your first time here, hello. This is my sweet mess, and welcome to my kitchen, where every week I make a mess trying new recipes in the pursuit of something sweet. For the Italian lemon ricotta cookies, we have two elements, the cookies and the frosting. Let's get started with the cookies. To get started with our cookies, we are going to combine all of our dry ingredients into a medium bowl. So into the bowl goes our all-purpose flour, as well as our sugar. Ooh, that's a lot. Our baking soda's next. I might have needed a bigger bowl. Now we need to add our salt. This recipe, it's adding salt to taste. So I'm going to add just a little bit of salt, and then I can add more later once the dough sort of comes together. And then we got our whisk here, and we'll just whisk it all to combine. This bowl is way too small for the amount of ingredients that are in it, so I'm just gonna move slowly. And take note, you want a bigger bowl than what I got here. I don't know about you, but there's something really calming and almost meditative about stirring ingredients with a whisk. I don't know what it is. I could just do this for a while. So we've got our dry ingredients. They're looking pretty good. So I'm just gonna set these aside for later, and now we can mix together our wet ingredients. To get started with our wet ingredients, in the bowl of our stand mixer fitted with the paddle attachment or a hand mixer, we are going to cream the softened butter by letting the mixer run for about a minute on medium or medium-high heat. You'll know your butter is done when it starts to get light and fluffy, and then you can add in the next ingredients.
Oh, shoot.
So I made a mistake. I'm looking through my recipe steps here, and I was actually supposed to add the butter and sugar to the bowl at this step. But as we just saw, I added the sugar into my dry ingredients. I can't go back and undo it, so we're just gonna press forward and hope it all works out. I can't believe I did that. Okay, moving on. Into the bowl of our stand mixer, we are going to cream together the butter. Now that our softened butter is nice and light and fluffy, we can add in our granulated sugar, if you have it, and our lemon zest. So I will add the lemon zest. And we will turn this mixer back on and let it run for about 30 seconds or so on medium speed. I have no idea how these cookies are going to turn out since I already messed up a step. But thanks to the lemon zest, my kitchen smells so bright and citrusy and fresh, and I appreciate that. Now that my lemon zest and butter are nicely mixed together, it is time to add in our namesake ingredient, the ricotta cheese. So into our mixer, we will add in our ricotta cheese. This is the lemon ricotta cookie after all, so we've got lemon, and now we'll have ricotta. And we are going to turn this on and let it run for about 30 seconds just to give it that sort of preliminary mix with the butter and the lemon zest. And now that our ricotta is mixed in just a little bit there with the butter and the lemon zest, we are going to add in our vanilla extract. We're going to turn our mixer back on and let it run again for about 30 seconds or so. Now it's time to add in our eggs. I'm going to turn the mixer on low speed and slowly add in the eggs one at a time, making sure that the first egg is fully integrated into the dough before I add in the next egg. Now that my eggs are fully integrated into our dough, it's time to add in the dry ingredients that we prepped earlier. So I've got a little scooper here. It's actually a measuring cup, but I'm going to use it to help scoop in some of our dry ingredients because we want to be adding in our dry ingredients very slowly just to make sure that it has a chance to integrate in with the butter and the ricotta cheese that's already in there. Now that our cookie dough is done, I'm going to cover the bowl with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge for 2 hours up to 2 days. I'm just going to let it hang out in the fridge just for a couple of hours. And it's the next day. I had fully intended on letting this dough hang out for a few hours in the fridge, coming back and finishing the bake yesterday, but the day sort of got away from me, which happens, so we are going to finish this bake today. My dough has been hanging out in the fridge for about 24 hours. It is fully chilled and I am excited to move forward and finish this bake today. I've got my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, so let's scoop out these cookies. Oops. I've got a parchment paper lined baking sheet here and my 1 tablespoon scooper. You can also use a measuring spoon. And I'm just going to scoop out the cookies and place them on my tray, leaving a few inches between each cookie. Now, based on the original recipe, we should get about 48 cookies from this dough, which means I'm going to be rotating my cookie sheets in and out of the oven quite a bit. So let's get started. I like to start placing my dough in the corners. I feel like it helps keep the parchment paper from moving around too much while I fill up the rest of the sheet tray. If you have helping hands that want to get involved in the kitchen, scooping out the cookies is an excellent opportunity to get them involved. My first tray is scooped out and ready to go, so I'm going to pop this guy into our preheated 350 degree oven for about 12 to 14 minutes. And while this tray is cooking, I'm going to work on scooping out our next tray. Our first tray of cookies is out of the oven. It took about 13 minutes for this first batch. I knew they were done because you could start to see some of the edges turning a light golden brown color. So I'm gonna let these guys cool on the baking sheet for about 10 minutes and then I will transfer them to a wire rack. Oh, before I forget, with this many batches of cookies going in and out of the oven, make sure you're giving your oven time to get back to temp before putting in the next batch. As we open and close the door of the oven, we're letting out a lot of heat each time, which can impact your bake. So once a batch of cookies is done, give your oven a few minutes and then put in your next batch. Speaking of next batch, I'm going to keep working on all of these cookies. Once they are cooked and cooled, I will come back and then we can dip and decorate. Most of my cookies are 100% cooled. I still have a few trays around my kitchen that are cooling, but I'm gonna go ahead and make my icing so that we can finally taste these cookies. In a medium mixing bowl, we are going to combine our powdered sugar, melted butter, lemon juice, vanilla extract, and milk. I went ahead and measured my powdered sugar directly into the mixing bowl just to save on dishes, but you absolutely do not have to do that. So into our mixing bowl with the powdered sugar, let's add our milk, and we will add in our lemon juice. Next is our melted butter, and finally our vanilla extract. And we will give all of that a good mix with the whisk. We are looking for some icing that is actually pretty thin because the goal is going to be to dip the cookies into the icing. Ooh, I did want to call out, I did not sift the powdered sugar. I know sometimes recipes call for it. This one didn't, and I did not take the extra step to sift the powdered sugar. And this icing is coming together just fine. I'm not really seeing any lumps and bumps from leftover powdered sugar. So I'm gonna say that is a step that you can skip, and I am happy about that. So I have here a little decorating station. What I'm gonna do is take a cookie, dip the top into the icing, and then let some of the icing sort of drip off back into the bowl. Then place it back onto our cooling rack and then put sprinkles on the wet icing. I highly recommend placing a piece of parchment paper under your cooling rack just to catch any icing drips that may come off of the cookies. If you've got helping hands in the kitchen, dipping and decorating these cookies would be a great opportunity to get them involved in the kitchen. As you can see, this is a slow going process, a labor of love certainly. As the cookies get dipped and decorated, I'm gonna let them hang out on the wire rack for about 20 minutes, which should be about the time that it takes to get the glaze set. So I'll be here dipping and decorating, and once all of the cookies are dipped, decorated, and that glaze is set, I'll come back and we can give these guys a taste. And just like that, our cookies are done and decorated, and don't they look sweet? I love the sprinkles on top, and I really appreciate that you can customize the sprinkles to fit any occasion or celebration. Before I bring these cookies to my event, let's give these guys a taste. These cookies are absolutely fantastic. They are light and fluffy, and that ricotta cheese and lemon add a nice bright tangy flavor to the cookies, while that icing and the powdered sugar add a sweetness to sort of balance out the tang. These Italian lemon ricotta cookies take your cookie game up a notch while still being familiar enough to serve to a crowd. These will pair beautifully with hot or iced tea and could be served for brunch instead of scones or as a dessert. I cannot wait to bring these to my ladies' lunch brunch event. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember, trying new things is messy, but the end result can be pretty sweet. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.